Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to Sunday stream. It's 8 o'clock. This will be the final stream on a Sunday at 8 o'clock going forward, because all the matches are going to finish around 8:45, 9 o'clock. So that is when we will be streaming from next week, around 9 o'clock. So make sure you look out for that. I hope you're doing well. There's only 3 days left now to the deadline, less than 3 days, given that the deadline is, 6 o'clock? I should really know that. Yeah, I think, no, it's the deadline, the game's on at 6 o'clock, the deadline's 5 o'clock. Oof, could have been some misinformation there. So I hope you're doing well. Norwich player tested positive. We will talk about that in just a minute. What was loud? The intro. Was the intro video loud? Okay, if it was loud, that's my bad. I can turn that down, but I can't go back in time to do it. But I'll make sure to do it for next time, I hope. So let me know how the intro was. I hope you like the new setup, the new graphics. I think they look pretty damn cool. We've got McNeil on the wall behind us now. We've got space for 2 more legends, whenever that might be. We don't want to rush to put them there. Someone did steal the bar. I got rid of the bar just because you couldn't see the hack t-shirt. And I think the hack t-shirt is quite funny. Ian, how's it going? Business Cat, what is up? Physio, welcome back as always. General Zod, hello. We'll start off with all the questions in a sec. as always. It's not loud, it's because you are quiet. Am I? Shouldn't be. I don't think I'm any quieter than normal. I can turn myself up a bit. I don't want to put myself too loud, though, where it's annoying. Hello from Denmark. Hello from Ireland. Nice, cool intro, cool graphics. Thanks very much. Shout out to Marco, who designed all this. He might be in the chat. He said he was going to come and watch the stream because he wants to get all the positive feedback. He wants everyone to tell him how good he is. There he is. Marco is in the chat. I knew it. So what I was going to say, really quick, little bit of admin. Because last week's stream was jumpy and stuff for people. So let me just bore you for 2 seconds, right? One, you know my internet's bad, so the lag is sometimes just a thing that happens. I can't stop it, right? The audio should be okay, but I know last week it was jumping around for people back and forth. So I think that's because I always edit the video afterwards in YouTube, and then it has to process, and that takes ages. And sometimes it can take like an hour, sometimes it can take a day. And while it's processing, it can be messed up. And the only reason I edit it is just to get rid of the starting soon sign. So when someone clicks the video starts from me saying hello. So I'm just going to stop doing that, and I'm just going to pin a post or pin someone else's post that says when the stream actually starts. So if it's a 5-minute starting soon screen, I'll just put up a 5-minute thing so you can get straight into the stream. So it stops all that processing in the background. So hopefully it'll be quicker and be less issues when you try and watch it back. Anyway, that's the admin. Today's stream starting at 8 o'clock. Next week, like I said, it'll be back to like normal 9 o'clock-ish time. But I thought, why? Well, I could just do it at 8. Why not? You need to set the frame on your green screen to be wider. I do, but look, here's the problem. If I set it wider, for whatever reason, even though the green screen is right behind me, I need to move it over a bit probably. So I'll move it over, but I'll figure with that next time. I know, because this arm is like here, but this arm you can't see. So I know what you mean. I cannot hear you in the car when driving, and then when the ads come, they sound really loud. Your volume does not match the ads/intro. Okay, I mean, the only thing that I'm doing is playing the intro. I can't control the ads, like sound and stuff, so afraid not. Yeah, the video lags, it doesn't matter. It does matter, like I don't like it, but I'm not going to, I can't do anything about it. What else is there? I think that's it. I think we're it. I still haven't hit my free hit button, even though I'm going to use it. I mean, I should just hit it. The reason I haven't done it is because I don't want to mess up and transfer out a player that I might want, even though I think only Kevin De Bruyne and Leno probably stay from my team. So I'm still going back and forth about exactly which players to get. I've still got a core, obviously. I'm starting to come around to McBurney from Sheffield United. We'll talk about that in a second. I'll put my team up in a minute as well. Thoughts on Norwich player tested positive for COVID-19. Conspiracy to try and void the season. Nah, it's not a conspiracy. Like they can't. How are they going to fix the tests? It's just one player, right? It's a player. We don't know who it is. We're probably not going to find out before the deadline. Maybe we will, but I doubt it. To be honest, the thing is, I don't think. Oh, can I turn up the volume of my voice? If everyone says that my voice is too quiet, then I can. But it's the same as it is every time. So I don't think it's that big an issue. I hope not. Anyway, what was I going to say? What was I saying? Norwich thing. Yeah. I don't know if it's an issue. Like we're not going to find out who the player is. It's not going to stop the match. They've already said that. Like 1 or 2 players missing is not going to stop the match. They're going to have to use younger players if necessary. Second or backup squad members, whatever it might be. It could be Cantwell. It could be Pookie. It could be, I don't know, whoever. The thing is, if it was a high-profile player, I feel like we're more likely to find out who it is. Norwich played Spurs, yeah, and Spurs have already said, or Man United have already said that the match will go ahead. The thing is, I think people think the matches are going to be stopped because one player, because everyone has to self-isolate, but they don't. We said this on the last stream. Whoever that player was, I'm not going to say, I don't know who it is. Whoever it is has to go and self-isolate, and anyone they've been in contact with outside, the players just don't count for that for whatever reason. And I guess one of that is because they're all being tested. So if they had it, they would have shown up positive as well. and they're going to get tested again and again and again and again. So it's not really a big issue. Best option in City defence. I mean, if they're all going to start, then I'd probably go for Mendy or Cancelo or Walker. But I'd say I like Laporte. But I'd want to know how many games he started in kind of pre-season. I know pre-season's not everything, but it's a pretty good indication of who's starting, who's getting minutes under the belt, kind of who's maybe not struggling with fitness. And I don't know how often Laporte started so far. Someone actually in the Patreon Slack was talking about Otamendi. I think he started both games, I think. So that could be interesting. And he's only 4.9 million. I need to double check this. I thought he was like 5.5 plus. He can't be 4.9 million, surely. He's 4.9 million, Otamendi. That's crazy. He started 4 of the last 5. Fair play. Who was it that said that? Let's have a look. A trophy in Patreon Slack. Fair play for spotting that. Not saying he's like necessarily now a must-have player, but yeah, maybe one to consider, especially if we hear it. The thing is, over the next few days, when we're really going to start probably hearing stuff about who's played well in pre-season, who looks fit and stuff like that. Not that I want to say this stream's like pointless, but because we can still talk generally about players, but we're probably going to get a lot of info over the next coming days. So we really need to look at that. Have I got a Chelsea? I'll bring my team up, right? Let me see. So this is my team, and I've set it so that you can see how much money I've got. Because obviously that makes a difference. Is Benjamin Mendy a good choice for Game Week 30 plus? Cheers for that, Earl. I mean, this is one of the things. Is he going to play twice? I don't know. For me, like, I mean, he's probably their first choice left back, right? Who else could even play there? Zinchenko, Angelino still there? Is he still there? Not 100%. I'll have to double check in a sec. Is he away on loan? Yeah, he's on loan. So right back, left back is Mendy and Zinchenko. Cancelo could play there as well. Maybe this is what Mendy needed, a long break. So he could play twice. And I think Mendy is the most interesting option. If you could pick City's 11 and you put him a left back, I think he's one of the more interested defensive options, but it's a bit risky, I think, for playing twice. So I've got McBurney in. I've got no Chelsea players. I've got 8.2 million to spend on that last spot. Like, if I put Sterling to Mahrez, I've got a lot more money to spend. But the thing is, so the bench thing, right? So let me just get that out of the way. So when because I've not hit the free hit button yet, because there's no price change, it doesn't really matter when I hit the button, as long as I actually hit it before Game Week 30. That would be a nightmare if I didn't. The way I kind of set it up is I put in the cheapest players possible and then work from there. Do I want to go in with the cheapest bench possible? Not really. But then again, because I'm fully expecting all those players to play, it's not that bad a thing. So I usually stick in all the cheapest players just to see what the maximum amount of money is I could spend. And then obviously if I go for someone like Mount or Ozil, I'm not saying I will, but whoever it might be for less, then I'll upgrade the bench option, starting with defence probably, because it's probably the way you get the best bang for your buck. Maybe like a Cantwell or a Duda in midfield, whatever it might be. You should do Stevens for Baldock so you can get Bruno. Yeah, I mean, I could do that, yeah. I was chatting earlier, so I've looked at Arsenal. Arsenal's okay, let me talk about why I've got McBurney first, hey? Let's talk about that. So there's something... Sheffield United defence is really good value, don't get me wrong. And obviously they could keep 2 clean sheets. They got Villa and Newcastle. I think the Newcastle game is probably the easier clean sheet than against Villa. But triple up is interesting. If you go and look at McBurney's numbers before the season finished, they're extremely good. I actually put him in my double game week differential video. So 0.3% owned. And it's not really just because his numbers are really good. And don't get me wrong, a player can have really good expected goals because they're getting the chances created for them. And obviously they're getting those chances in good positions. doesn't mean the player can finish them. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that McBurney is going to score. If McBurney has the same chance as Aguero, he's going to score as many. Right? I know that he's not going to. I fully get that. But he has got some pretty good underlying numbers, or did have. He's nailed on, and he plays some pretty awful defences. So Aston Villa, one of the worst defences in the league. Is that going to have changed? I doubt it. And then the other one is Newcastle. Now, Newcastle away is not actually that easy a fixture. They've been really good at home. But if we think that the home and away thing is not going to be playing at home is not so big an advantage anymore, then Newcastle defence is also pretty bad. So I've kind of talked myself a bit into McBurney again. Like I said, I did have him on my differential video, and I saw someone on Twitter talking about him earlier, and I started rethinking it. Plus, double Sheffield United defence might be enough for me. Like, what if they concede just one goal in both games? It's like all those clean sheets wiped out, which isn't great. And then it means I get Doherty in there. Look, I could just get a third Sheffield United defender and put Jimenez up front. Like, I could do that instead. McBurney last 4 game weeks, big chances 3, big chances missed 3. Yeah, and you can look at it as in he's not good enough to finish those chances, but at the same time, maybe he'll regress to the mean, and maybe he'll start putting those chances away. I mean, it's hard to really talk about stats too much because obviously there's been a 3-month break. Who knows how players are going to come back? Newcastle defence is decent when at home. Yeah, I said this on a video. I can't remember which one. I think it was one for Fantasy Football Scout when I was doing the cheap defenders, talking about Lascelles and Fernandez. They've got the best home, not the best home record. I think they've got maybe joint first home record, but they've got the biggest advantage, biggest swing in clean sheets for playing or goals conceded playing at home versus playing away. Does that make sense? So they have not the biggest advantage, but they've gained the most, I suppose, from playing at home. I think I read it on a site. It was like they've got a 39% more chance of having a clean sheet when playing at home than away, and that's the highest in the league by quite a distance. But does home and away matter anymore? So yes, they were good at home. Will they still be? I don't know. McBurney, he seems okay. I feel like another player I've looked at up front is Nketiah. Will he start? I was going to actually talk about Arsenal for a sec then, and I got sidetracked. So what I was looking at, I think I talked about on the last stream maybe, or maybe I talked about on the Saturday stream on the second channel. I get lost about what videos I've done. And that is putting Henderson in goal. So whether I've got double or triple up and Sheffield United defenders, whatever, get rid of them, put Henderson in goal, and go for an Arsenal defender instead, like Bellerin and Tierney. The reason for that is you still cover the clean sheets, but you potentially get... my gut feeling would be, apart from the fact they're playing Man City, the Bellerin or Tierney is probably better attacking threat than any of the Sheffield United defenders. Maybe not Stevens, but I'd keep Stevens probably and get rid of the other Sheffield United defender. And basically go for an Arsenal defender. It's just something different. The only problem is it costs a little bit more to do that, and if you want to play safety in terms of starts, then Leno and a Sheffield United defender is probably a lot more safe than Henderson and the Arsenal defender that might not play both. But there's only like 4 or 5 players that have started both games for Arsenal. It's Aubameyang, Bellerin, Tierney, and Mustafi and Leno. So 4 of their back 5, if you include the goalkeeper, plus Aubameyang. So that gives me a little bit of confidence that Bellerin and Tierney could start both games. And I don't know, I looked at Tierney when he first came into the league and saw the amount of assists he got in the Scottish League. And obviously, Premier League's different environment. But it does make me a little bit tempted just to go for Tierney as a bit of a differential. Lundstram will be in my team if I think he's going to start. Now, there's no doubts about that. I would take out Egan and put Lundstram in. I don't know who to have as the midfielder, to be honest, in this situation. I probably wouldn't go for Ozil. Just not sure about him at all. Probably Mount. I don't know about Pulisic. I don't think he played today or didn't start. It's a little bit of a worry. And Hudson-Odoi, all that stuff's kind of, there's nothing's happening with that now. It's not going any further. So I don't know about Pulisic. Same with Alonso. I don't think he started. He's a nice differential if he starts. Would he start? That's the big problem. Mount would probably be my front runner right now for Chelsea, I'd say. Saka. Yeah, the thing is, like, there's so many. Arsenal have actually got so many options, cheap options, but trying to guess who's going to start both is like, it's impossible. Like, Saka had been playing left back. He could play further forward. They've got Martinelli, they've got Nketiah. Like, who of these is going to start? And you've still got Aubameyang to fit in, who definitely starts. And then look at Lacazette as well. Is Lacazette just going to get benched twice? Seems highly unlikely to me. But Nketiah started the last 3 games, but I think Martinelli was injured. So it's like, it's so difficult. If I knew that one of those Arsenal players was nailed on, I'd probably just go for him just because of the value. Loftus-Cheek got the most minutes today and bagged twice. Nah, I don't. Loftus-Cheek, maybe. What position? Do we know what position he was playing in? He's probably playing. Was he playing number 10? Thoughts on Tammy worth a punt? Yeah, but again, is Giroud a worry? That's the only thing that worries me about Chelsea, because Giroud was doing all right for them, wasn't he, before this all happened. That's the only little bit of a worry. But my assumption, again, there's Chelsea fans in the chat, so let me know. My assumption is that Abraham will start, right? And if so, I think any Chelsea player that starts that first game, I think is a great option, because Aston Villa are that bad, basically. You wouldn't expect many goals for the first couple of weeks. If anything, I feel like I'm expecting more goals. I might be wrong. Played Cam, there we go. But Burnley to Lacazette, I mean, there's a bit of a price difference there. Giroud started today as well. How many games have Chelsea played? They played 2. Relying on Lundstram attacking returns, won't play 60 minutes in both games. I mean, that does seem quite likely, doesn't it? That even if he starts the first one, Sanderberg could come into the second one, especially with it being so close together. Just go Jimenez, you know he'll play 90. Yeah, Jimenez is an option. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go for McBurney, to be honest. He's like my pick that no one's going to go for. So why not? Of course, I miss out on a potential clean sheet for a potential extra clean sheet for Sheffield United, but McBurney scores and Sheffield United lose both of their clean sheets, then maybe I'm a little bit up. That's kind of what I'm looking at. On free, Gavin, thanks very much. On free hit, do I go Trent and Martial or David Luiz and Son? On free hit, I mean Trent is miles better than David Luiz, isn't he? Like, Arsenal are conceding to Man City. I know I've just talked about getting maybe Bellerin or Tierney, but I'm not getting them instead of Trent. So I'd probably go Trent and Martial. I mean, I am drawn a little bit to the Man United player, I won't lie. Mitch Fisher, a member. By the way, I know, like, if anyone is a YouTube Premium member, and you don't have to use it here, but it's the deal runs out on the 30th of June. If you're a YouTube Premium member, a YouTube Premium whatever it is, holder, you can get a free channel member subscription to a YouTube channel. So if there's anyone who watch, if it's me, great. If it's not, you don't have to go for me. But yeah, you can sign up. There's like a join button on all the YouTube channels. I forgot about that, to be honest. Very buffer. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. I wish there was. What else we got here? Wilcox starts ahead of Ozil. Yeah, but Ozil did play in the second half today, didn't he? Or whenever it was. Would you play Lascelles or Seiss this week? Probably Seiss. I don't know. I like Lascelles, but I don't know if they'll keep a clean sheet to Sheffield United. I'm not saying Sheffield United will put loads past them. Seiss a bit more attacking threat for me. The other option here, by the way, is drop Doherty to Seiss myself, and then I'd have loads of money to play in that spot. I could get Pepe if I wanted. If I get Pepe, though, he really is just what the hell is a double game week punt. Also, there's nothing to say that Pepe is going to start. He's going to start, right? What did he do? He started. I can't remember when Arteta came in. Does anyone know which was Arteta's first game? But he started 7 of the last 8. But like I said, they got Martinelli and Nketiah. Saka could be pushed forward. I just don't know. Who's going to start for Arsenal apart from Aubameyang, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Tierney, Bellerin, Leno, and Mustafi at the back. Apart from that, I just don't know who else is going to start. Am I not afraid of Pep roulette? Yes, but you got to go for it. I would say am I scared of it? No. I'm not even really worried about it, to be honest. Double game week, like, they could go huge. Everyone's going to go for Man City players anyway, so you can't really get punished too heavily, to be honest. Jimenez over McBurney, Henderson over Leno, Trent over Doherty, McGinn in midfield, and Tierney over Sheffield United. And that's a lot of changes. Like, McGinn doesn't excite me at all. I guess if I was really stuck for cash, I'd probably just go for him. It doesn't excite me at all. Well, Trent. Yeah, look, Trent could be. I'm probably going to go about Liverpool players, to be honest, and just risk it. I feel like I'm trying to look at calculated risks, and don't get me wrong, Trent got 4 attacking returns in one game plus a clean sheet and absolutely smashed me when I didn't have him. So it could happen again. But first game back against Everton. Like, Everton are good. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily work like this because Liverpool is such a good team. Everton are going to do everything they can not to let Liverpool win it any sooner than they absolutely have to. So can Everton nick it? The only problem with Everton is they've got quite a lot of injuries. So that's a little bit of a worry. So yeah, Trent's a great option. But if there's any week from now until the end of the season where I can get away with not having Trent, I feel like it's this one. So I'm just going to go for it. I can't remember if I've talked about this on a stream, but I feel like the kind of virtual FPL and Championship Manager FPL, they've kind of like, at least for the end of this season, given me like a different way I want to play. Like, I don't want to be worried, and I want to take a few more calculated risks. Like in virtual FPL, like, don't get me wrong, it is obviously virtual. It's been coded. You know, it's not in real life. They don't have like 3 months off because of lockdown. You know, footballers doing stuff they shouldn't do outside of the actual game. So they don't have this that comes into play. You know, there's some stuff written into it, like players care about golden boot and stuff like that, and they don't really play as well when there's nothing to play for. But in there, like, I decided I wanted to climb up the ranks, and the best way to do that was to avoid Liverpool. They had bad fixtures. Now, there's much worse fixtures they had than Everton away, don't get me wrong. And they did still score, but I had other players that did well with really good fixtures as well. So I just feel like I'm taking that into this now. It's Everton away, and that's not like a horrible fixture. But is that the best fixture to come back to after a long break? I don't know. So I'm probably going to go without him. If he scores a goal, if he gets an assist, gets a clean sheet, bonus points, it's going to hurt, of course, if my player hasn't done anything. And to be fair, his price is not far off Doherty. I mean, I could afford Trent in this team. I could get McGinn in now and just put Trent in instead of Doherty, but I'm probably just going to go with him. Surely you've got to start Trent. I don't even own him. I could get him in this team. I'm not saying I definitely won't get him, but if I was ever going to go without, I could just do it this week. Maybe. Or maybe I just put him in instead of Doherty. But I think if I put him in instead of Doherty, I feel like that is fear driving that decision. Like, Wolves are playing West Ham. West Ham have been awful. Is Mount a risk for game week 30? Don't think so, no. Goodison without a crowd will be easy for Liverpool. Yeah, that's a fair point, to be honest. Edison is as good a shout as Laporte. I mean, the thing, obviously, the big plus for Edison is, of course, he's nailed on. You don't have that with Laporte. Oh, so let me rephrase that. Laporte is pretty much as nailed as it gets, but you don't, fitness-wise and stuff, because you guarantee he's going to play both games. I put a lot of money on Edison starting both games. I don't know how much I would put on Laporte. Why are you picking McBurney? His stats are shocking. Which stats are you looking at? By the way, I saw someone answer. Sorry, I missed the name, but Arteta's first game was Bournemouth, apparently. So it's interesting to see which players have played since then. So his first game was Bournemouth. So Pepe didn't start the next 2 games, but then he played 7 and 8. He didn't play the first 2, then he played 7 and 8. Scored against United. Oh yeah, they beat us, didn't they? Goal and 2 assists against Newcastle, assist against Everton. Maybe we go Pepe. Pepe and Jota or Ozil and Jimenez. I prefer Jimenez, so I would just go for that one, to be honest. Because like Ozil and Pepe both pretty bad, I'd say. I'm still considering. Don't get me wrong. I'd still considering Pepe. Just don't think he's that good an option. Which kind of tells you all you need to know, really. How set am I? The gap between games is larger than people realise. It is for a lot of teams, because although there's games like every day and the deadlines are obviously close around, the deadlines are close together. Obviously, teams aren't going to play one day and then play the next one. They've got quite a long break in between. You're right. For some teams, it's like 6 days or whatever. If I had to pick one, gun to your head, Salah or Mane? I mean, Mane's got penalties, which is nice. If I was picking one, I would go Mane because he's less ownership, and I'd want to try and get up the ranks. I've got Salah to come back to, but I'd happily swap him to Mane, I think. What happened to Muse for Sheffield United? He was on fire at one point. Yeah, I think the problem was he just became not nailed on, and he stopped scoring as many goals. Whereas McBurney, it seems like McBurney +1 really up front for Sheffield United. Why isn't anyone talking about Adama Traore? Because they just don't know if he's definitely going to start. I feel like he probably will, but no one can say for sure. Is Salah injured? No, don't think so. Try and get Mark back on Scout streams. Everyone would love Mark back. Isn't it better to get Guendouzi instead of Amity? Yeah, the only reason I've got Amity in there, again, like this isn't like I haven't submitted this team. But yeah, if I didn't have 3 Arsenal players, I probably would put Guendouzi in instead. The only reason I haven't put him in is on the off chance that I want to put a 3rd Arsenal player in there, and obviously I can't do that without Amity. Pulisic or Mount, like I would want to. If I knew they were both going to start, I'd probably go Pulisic. But if I wanted to pick the player I was more sure was going to start, I'd probably go Mount. Thoughts on Mahrez? Yeah, Man City in general, right? Someone asked, again, I missed it. The chat's going quite far. I don't even know how many people are watching. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's over 600 people asking questions here, so it's going pretty quick. Make sure you give the stream a like, by the way, if you haven't already. Let's get to 200 pretty quick, I reckon. If you all just go and hit that like button, job done. It'd be very nice if you hit subscribe if you're new around here. All that normal stuff. Yeah, Man City options. You already know that I think De Bruyne and Aguero are the two that I'm not going to go without. I feel like they're must-haves. Sterling, it's a gut feeling, but if I had to, and sometimes I always think a bit of how much money would I bet on it. If I had to bet any kind of money on which other midfielder outside of De Bruyne has a chance of starting both games, then I think Sterling has a chance. I'm not saying he will start both games, because obviously there's a lot of quality there. They could just chop and change. However, it could be Sterling on the right, Sané on the left, then Mahrez comes in, Bernardo Silva, etc. But I feel if there was a midfielder that was going to start twice, I feel like it's Sterling. If I go for Mahrez, which I'm not saying I won't do, I feel like that's hoping for one start and hoping for minutes in the other. And there's always a chance he doesn't start either. You never know. Like, all these players have had such a long rest. Yes, there's gaps in between games that are maybe a bit shorter in some circumstances. But there's also the chance to sub on a bunch of players, so you can start with a more consistent 11. So one of the reasons as well that I don't want to go without Sterling is because when I decided that I was going to free hit, and I started thinking about players I was going to go in, my first real gut reaction was I'm going to go for Man City attackers, not a defender. I still think Laporte is a good option if he's going to start, or start both. And I think he's a good longer term option. Like I've said this a few times now, if you're going to carry someone for the rest of the season maybe, I probably wouldn't go Sterling if I was using my unlimited transfer and had to keep that team for the rest of the season. But on a free hit, I decided that I was going to attack the Man City fixtures and that Sterling was going to be my 3rd man. So that is why I'm drawn to going with him. I know it's 11.7 million. It's quite expensive. But I feel like I can fit that in now. So Sterling's the man. Like, non-stop saying there, Mahrez would be insane value if he started more often. Like, absolutely. Like, let's just quickly look between Mahrez and Sterling. So Mahrez has 3 more points this year. 3 more points than Sterling. Sterling's played 2,000 minutes. Mahrez has played, nearly 1,400. So he's played 600 minutes less than Mahrez. And if you look at points per match, obviously this plays out then. So Mahrez is on 5.3 and Sterling's on 4.9. So Sterling, honestly, has been awful value this year. Like, we all know that. He was great from game week 1. He scored in the next 2 games. And then really, he's not really been a great option since then. He even scored 2 goals against Wolves and only got 10 points. Like, how the hell did he manage that, actually? He must have got yellow cards, did he? Yellow card in that game? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Am I even looking at the right player? Anyway, yeah. So I think Sterling is... that's kind of why I'm going for Sterling, because he was my first gut instinct. Which is kind of why I want to go for him, basically. Someone said something about Mahrez had the most minutes over Christmas. Pep said he was one of the fittest and couldn't get injured because he has no muscles. But didn't he also say that Sterling is one of the fittest players? He can play 1 game and then be ready to go again. I'm sure he said that about Sterling. He missed 2 penalties, Sterling. Did he? There we go. Missed a penalty. I forgot about that. But there you go. So that is why, in a roundabout way, why I'm going for Sterling. But if Sterling and Mahrez both start 1 game and both get minutes, then yeah, Mahrez can outscore him for a lot less money. But Sterling's underlying stats have been pretty good this year as well. It's worth noting. Like, his expected goal involvement, so I think his expected goals plus expected assists are only slightly lower than Salah. But he just hasn't been getting the goals. So he scored 11 and got 2 assists, 13 attacking returns. Salah's on 22, so he's 9 attacking returns ahead. But in terms of expected data, they're very, very similar. Now, I know it doesn't always work out like that. Sterling could keep on missing for ages. But at some point, if he keeps getting those chances, keeps creating those chances, they are going to go in. It's very unlikely that a player playing for Man City like that is not going to start converting chances. We know how good Sterling can be. So, yeah, I don't know if I've convinced anyone. I feel like I'm kind of almost talking to convince myself. I feel like I've got to go for him. He's going without De Bruyne, a differential in himself. Yeah, I think that on Fantasy Football Scout, before like Twitter was big, I'm sure they used to get called an undifferential when you go without a player that's super well owned. As in, like, it's not really a differential because you're not going for the player. It's like an undifferential. So going without De Bruyne is being extremely different. Like, if you watched my video on rating random teams, I checked out 30 teams that were sent to me, and 100% of them had De Bruyne in there. So that is a huge differential to go without him. I also think it's risky because of just what damage you can do. One thing I've got to stop doing is using words like risky and safe. I hate them. It's very hard to stop saying them. But like saying go, because if you say going without De Bruyne is a risk, people take that as a negative. But the risk is because he's freaking awesome. That's not a risk. That's just he's such a great player. You should have him. It's not a risk to not own him. It's not fear. Like, I'm fearful he'll score loads of points because I think he'll score loads of points. Does that make sense? So it's not a risk going. Well, it is a risk going without him, unless you think someone else will score more points, I guess. I don't know. I need to articulate and explain that better. But yeah, using words like, I hate it. Like, oh, you're making the safe option. You mean I'm making the option that I think is going to score the most points? Rashford, Martial, or Bruno? I mean, Bruno's been the main man. I feel like Martial is almost like the... I was going to say least riskiest pick. No, that's after I just said all that. The thing I like about Martial is he plays up front. So no matter where Fernandes and Pogba get played, how they play together, they're going to be looking for Martial quite a lot. Rashford's going to go straight back to the wing. So I quite like Martial, to be honest. If it's just for a free hit, if it was like longer term, I'd probably go back to Fernandes. Because, I mean, Man United get a lot of penalties, and he probably is still on penalties. And my captain in... Pogba is very differential, yeah. He's like 2.9%, or he was when I made a video on him. Bruno took 2 spot kicks the other day. He did. He missed one. I didn't like the way he took the other one. I'm trying to remember now his ones against Watford and stuff. Don't know if he quite took them like that. It would worry me, to be honest, but he's also got a very good record, so I probably shouldn't complain about him too much. Martial's super injury prone. He is, to be fair. So maybe that's a little bit of a worry. But again, on a free hit, maybe he's the one to go for. He has been really good this year. I think this year was where he got the most amount of matches in a row. which is pretty good. So Martial, 5.3 points per match. That's the same as Mahrez, who we've just been saying is really good. It's 0.5 less than Son, who's 1.7 million more. Like, Martial's had a very good season. Does my free... No, if you use a free hit, you don't get to carry a transfer as well. He always does the Jorginho run-up. Yeah. I kind of remember that from the Watford game. I guess that's just his style. He's got, like I say, he's got a very good record, so I shouldn't really complain about it too much. I mean, it's not Pogba-esque, at least. I don't know why I turned my chair so far this way. Turn back. Wan-Bissaka or Maguire. I've got Maguire because I feel like he's probably a little bit more likely to play, like without getting like reduced minutes because of like the 5 subs or whatever. But Wan-Bissaka's kind of creativity had started to go up a bit under Solskjaer. Not under Solskjaer, sorry, in like the last few weeks before the season ended. So if he has improved his creativity and getting forward and putting crosses in, he could be a better option, but I don't know if he can really have put in that much work to get that much better this quick. So I've got Maguire. He'd probably be my pick, to be honest. Is that Mersian? Apologies if I've butchered the name there, but thanks very much. Is Tammy and Alonso on free hit good? Yeah, we were chatting about them earlier. So I do like the idea of going for Chelsea players, but as we've kind of already discussed, like Alonso, if there's any indication Alonso starts, I think he's a great punt this week. If not, it's a little bit of a worry for the amount of money he is. And Tammy Abraham, I would say he's going to start, but Giroud's around too. I can't remember what people were saying in the chat earlier, the Chelsea fans. But yeah, I think Tammy's probably the better option over Alonso. Wan-Bissaka bonus points. Yeah, he's pretty good for bonus, yeah. I don't know. For me, like, I've got Martial because I want to see him score from the corner. Just waiting for it when he's in my team. It's not a good reason to own a player, but that is why I own him. My captain, yeah. So someone asked me, will I captain Kevin De Bruyne? I really want to captain Aguero, to be honest. Just so explosive. Be interesting to see who's on penalties. I was chatting on Twitter earlier. Someone put in a really good tweet that I retweeted about who's taken penalties and who's been on the pitch for Man City. And it does look like Aguero's still first choice, but they were having those problems with missed penalties. You remember when Pep it was being made into a big thing, and Pep was talking about, like, you know, Ederson. Obviously, Ederson was never going to take penalties, but then Kevin De Bruyne had took one in the Champions League and scored it, but Aguero wasn't on the pitch, and we didn't get another chance to get another penalty. The worst thing that can happen is you captain Aguero, and then they get a penalty. Like, they haven't scored any goals. They get a penalty against Arsenal, and Kevin De Bruyne steps up. Like, I'd be like, that's game over, because Kevin De Bruyne is insane. Like, it's like 8 goals, 18 assists this year. You know, the only reason he's not ahead of the likes of Salah and only just ahead of Mane is because he's not scoring as many goals as they are. So he's got like more attacking returns, but obviously you get less points for assists. But if he got penalties, I mean, that may be essential for me. So De Bruyne, again, let me use the word I hate. De Bruyne for me is the safe option because you know how consistent he is. But Aguero is the more exciting option. I feel like, again, in any single match, anyone can kind of explode and get a bunch of points. If I was going to have to put money on whether it's De Bruyne or Aguero that's going to explode, I'd probably put my money towards Aguero. But at the same time, I feel like there's much less chance that De Bruyne gets rotated, and there's more chance that he starts both games. I don't know if that's the case with Aguero. But I mean, how long is it between games for Man City? I'll get to that in just a sec. It's 5 days, so that's probably enough, to be honest. It's 5 days, but then it's only 3 until the Chelsea game, which might be a little bit of a worry. So it's 3 games in 8 days. Path, have free hit wildcard bench boost. Should you go with free hit as you have good team value, or just use transfers? So here's the thing I would say about team value. Because everyone worries about team value. And I'm not saying you shouldn't consider it, because you absolutely should, because this is a weird situation we're in. What was I going to say? I've forgotten. So the value only matters if you want the players straight back. So key players are going to be like Salah, Mane, Trent Alexander-Arnold. If you free hit them out, if you unlimited transfer them out, and then you wildcard and game week 31 and you want them back, you will lose money on them unless you bought them at their highest price. So can you afford to get them back? So the real way to answer that question is go and look at the unlimited transfers team you would make, and then who are you selling? What's the money you're going to lose on that? And how many of those players do you want back straight away in gaming? And I mean straight away. Like, if you sell a player that you might want back in 3 or 4 weeks' time, I wouldn't worry about that because anything can happen in that time. But so, like, if it's Salah or Trent, see how much money you're going to lose and how much it's going to cost to get back. Basically, you almost need to try and plan your Game Week 31 team as well, because if there's too many players you need to buy back that you've sold. I know people are saying you shouldn't. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's just money, but it's not really the case at all. It's a different situation. Usually when you sell a player, it's because they've got bad fixtures coming up, or you want another player in who's got better fixtures for 3 or 4 game weeks. And yeah, if you buy them back and it costs you a bit more, whatever. But in this case, you're literally buying them straight back. So if you've got a good team value, it really depends on how many of those players you want back. If there's only a couple and you can afford it, then you could look at just using your unlimited transfers instead of free hitting, to be honest. And maybe there'll be other game weeks where free hitting is slightly better. Oh jeez, so many questions. Sorry, so much chat. I mean, Pepe's played De Bruyne further forward in big games. Remember Arsenal away earlier in the season? Yeah, he did run the show. I think I was almost getting rid of him that week. He was so good. Aguero missed one the weekend before De Bruyne scored. Yeah, see, I feel like if we hadn't waited 3 months, we'd be saying De Bruyne's on penalties, but we don't know for sure. That's the thing. If he is on penalties, though, and they get one, like I said, and you captain Aguero, that will be an absolute killer. People can twist or frame good decisions in a negative light, e.g. having De Bruyne is a smart choice, but people can frame it negatively, saying, well, you're just following the crowd or you're scared of the race. Yeah, absolutely. People do that all the time. And then when you do get be different. I'm different. I got McBurney. He's owned by 0.3%. Yeah, you shouldn't have McBurney. He's rubbish. It's the same every time. That's why I do not listen to safety. You're following the crowd. You're a sheep. Whatever. There's only a small pool of players to buy from. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I'm going to have some players that other people have got. There's 7 million other players. You can see it. It's annoying. Convince me to go without Trent. I talked about Trent earlier. I wouldn't try and convince anyone, to be honest. I'll tell you why I'm not going for him. Everyone says points over value is being stupid because value is points. If you can't get Trent, Mane, Salah, etc. back, you're literally just shooting yourself in the foot. No, I completely agree. I agree with that in general. What I don't like is when people say I'm like, I don't know. They've had Abraham. I can't think of a player now. They've had Ings, right, at 6 million. He's gone up to 7 million. So they've made 0.5 million. But the way it will be framed is I'm going to lose 0.5 million if I sell him. Well, you're only going to lose that if you sell him and you want him back like the next week and he hasn't changed in price. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got money left in Ings. I'm going to sell him straight away. I don't want him back. I don't think I want him back anyway. Am I absolutely sold on using my free hit? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this is going to be annoying because I won't be able to put the transfers back in. But this is my team. This is my team when we come back. And I'm pretty happy with it. Like, the thing is, I do think this is going to be... There's going to be a lot to consider after Game Week 30. Because obviously we're going to find out who's starting. Maybe there's injuries. Maybe there's players playing in positions they weren't playing before. I don't know, whatever it might be. In Game Week 31, we might want a whole lot of different players. But I feel like, I don't know, Man United, for example, got good fixtures. Very unlikely that I'm going to come in, unless there's an injury, it's very unlikely I'm going to come into Game Week 31 where Martial, Fernandes and Maguire are not good options. Same with Saiss and Jimenez. Like Saiss, I don't know, maybe he doesn't play and Bolly plays with a different partner, but it's unlikely. Ings has bad fixtures after this week, so he will be transferred out, I think. Calvert-Lewin should be okay. I think Everton's fixtures are decent. So it's Norwich away, then Leicester, Spurs, Southampton. So they're okay. They're really good fixtures are at the end where they play Villa and Bournemouth. But yeah, I think he's okay. So I've got a plain bench as well. I should really... In fact, I'm just going to put Egan on because people will think this is my actual team. Well, it is my team. I mean the team that I'm going to play this week. So yeah, I am sold on using free hit. Because if I free hit, I get this team back, which I think is okay. There's not many players there that I just do not want. And even if I use unlimited transfers, I'd still probably keep Leno because he's got a double game week. Whereas really, I don't really want him after this week. And I can get more double game week players. If I use my unlimited transfers, I'd have to get less double game week players and more single game week. And also, like I said, if I want to take a punt, which is not having Liverpool players this week, then free hit's probably an easy way to do it. Villa or Arsenal defender already tripled up on Sheffield United defence. I'd probably go for an Arsenal defender. I know they play Man City, which is almost as bad, and they are Arsenal. It's almost as bad as having an Aston Villa defender. I don't know. I just feel like Arsenal defender's more interesting. That's where I would go anyway. Villa defence is awful. Like, there's a reason everyone's looking at Chelsea players this week. How do you get Son in there? I've got 2 million in the bank. I can literally do Martial straight to Son, or Fernandes straight to Son. Now, I know the first question someone's going to say is, well, then you won't have Martial Fernandes. But yeah, of course. Like, you can't have everyone. I wish I had enough money to do Ings, basically swap to get Son in and get a cheap forward, but I just don't have enough money. There's not really a good way of doing it, to be honest, unless I get rid of one of the Man United boys. So I've got this team has 2 million in the bank, basically. Which is quite nice. Is it too risky not having Mane? I don't think it's too risky this week. Like, most people are gonna go for City players. Hardly anyone is gonna captain a Liverpool player this week. I don't think so anyway. Oh, hang on. Is that a different? Sorry, Path. Is that a different super chat? Did I read your super chat wrong? Huh? I thought you said something about, I don't know, triple Sheffield United defence or 2 Sheffield United and 1 Arsenal. I'd probably just go triple Sheffield United. The only reason I'm not doing that is because I have my Burnley, but that's probably what I would do. Like I'm maybe going to punt on an Arsenal defender, but it is a punt. They've not been that good defensively. Yes, they improved a bit under Arteta, but they're playing Man City, so straight away that's probably not a clean sheet. So you're really relying on the Brighton game, and then hoping for some attacking returns. I just think it's a bit different. Like, I fully appreciate sometimes the noise of like Twitter and YouTube and whatever. It can feel like everyone's doing the same thing, and a lot of people will free hit. A lot of people will go De Bruyne because they've got unlimited transfers. So if I want a couple of different players, I'm just trying to think about where I can get them in a double game week. So Arsenal defenders maybe, but at the same time, I keep thinking to myself, what's the word? Is the upside really there for Arsenal defenders? Like, is there enough upside to even bother thinking about it? Do you know what I mean? Are they really going to get enough attacking returns? Are they going to get a clean sheet against that Brighton game? Keep Salah or sell him because he's injured. He's not injured. Is Benjamin Mendy a good differential? I think he's a great one if he's going to start. But there's competition for that left side. They don't have to play Mendy every week. I feel like the more I think... Well, maybe I'm just trying to talk myself into it. But the more I think about it, I don't see why he probably... Like, he is their first choice left back. Or he has been. Can I make a new mini league for the rest of the season? I should do that, shouldn't I, really? Yeah, let me think about that. Obviously, just be a public one. I should say as well, I think everyone's still on here. Does it work? Yay! Here's all the Patreons. Thanks very much for your support. I did put up a post the other day. So the way I'm going to do Patreon is there was going to be like a March, April, May league. Because it stopped in March, I'm going to add on the June fixtures to the March league because everyone's already signed up and paid for March. And then in July, because their season's going to end in July, there'll be a new league in July because the payments go through on the 1st of July. So if anyone wants to sign up to Patreon for the end of the season, get into Slack and get into the July league, I will be doing one final league. So basically March will be added to June for everyone that's already signed up. And then... there'll be a new one from July. So if anyone wants to sign up now, you get into Slack and stuff right away. And then once the payments go through, you'll be in for the July month. And then next season, I'm going to rework Patreon a bit because I'm not completely happy with how I'm running it. So I'm actually probably going to disable the page I've got now, which obviously will stop all the payments, and relaunch it completely. So I think it's a bit weird this in dollars and you can't easily change that. I don't like that. It doesn't make sense when most people are from the UK or whatever, or Europe. But yeah, anyway, thanks very much for the support. All the producers are on the screen. If you want to check it out, there's a link in the description below. That's what I'm doing. So there'll be a July League, and if you want to get into the Slack channel right now, it's a pretty good time to sign up. And if you don't like it, you can cancel it before July, before any more payments go through. But for anyone that is signed up, I know I paused the payments. They won't be paused for July. Okay, there we go. Oh, look at this. Maybe I just go to this. Maybe I don't want my team up on the screen now. I do much. This background's so good. Why do people ask, will this player play? Yeah, no, obviously we don't know. But yeah. Let's go back to my team. Boom. So nice. Is Jota a good differential, or will I go for Samatta or McBurney? The thing with Jota is, like, I don't get me wrong, I am looking at Jota. Arsenal attacking option other than Aubameyang. Honestly, I'm almost saying there isn't another option. There isn't like another option that's definitely nailed on. Like I've already said, Nketiah, Saka, even Lacazette, Pepe, Ozil, they could all play. Will they play twice? I mean, I think out of all them, if I had to bet on someone to play twice, it'd probably be Ozil. Would I want Ozil in my team? Would I consider him if it wasn't I don't buy the would you consider him if it wasn't a double game week? No, well then he's not a good option because I wouldn't choose McBurney in a single game week, but for a double game week playing two of the worst defences in the league, I think that's okay. So I don't necessarily buy that, but you're really probably just playing for one game with the Arsenal attack. So I just couldn't tell you one of them that's nailed on. Aubameyang will start both games, I'm almost certain of it. Outside of that, who knows? Is Jota a good differential? Thanks for that, Widow Path. Is Jota a good differential, or should I go Samatta or McBurney? So, I do like the idea of Jota. There's a couple of things that worry me. For both seasons, really, he's been quite a slow starter. And obviously, he's just had 3 months off. So how will that affect him? Does he need that momentum? Is it just a coincidence? He could come back and fire straight away. He was doing decently enough before it all stopped. Also, what formation are Wolves going to play? If it's a 3-4-3, like he's going to start regardless, whether it's 3-5-2 or 3-4-3. But he's probably a slightly better option in a 3-5-2 playing up front. And if Traore is going to play, which again we don't know, I need to check out Wolves pre-season actually. I think Wolves were one of those teams that said they weren't going to put anything through the media. I don't know why. It's really strange. If Traore is going to start, it's more likely it's going to be 3-4-3. So Jota will be on the left. Obviously, he can come inside, still gets in the box and stuff, but probably not quite as good an option, maybe. So I feel like if I was planning for long term, I'd probably go for Jota and hope for the best. But for 1 week, I feel like I'd probably just go McBurney or Samatta. I don't know a lot about Samatta, to be honest. I've only seen a couple of his games. And like I said already about McBurney, like, is he the greatest finisher? Doesn't look like it from what we've seen so far. But he was getting some good chances, and he plays really awful defences. So could be an option. I would probably go for it in that situation. Jota. See, if it was Jimenez versus over those two, yeah, maybe you can make an argument for Jimenez. But as it's Jota, I'd probably go for one of the double game weekers personally. El Ghazi is a legit option. He has 0.44 expected goals per 90 and expected assists, and he took the last Villa penalty. Grealish was on the pitch. Nice. Here's a question. You think he'll start both games? Why did he not start the last 2 games of the season? Because I looked him up earlier, because I know people have been talking about him. Oh, hang on, let me get rid of this. Let me go for total points. So he's behind Grealish. He's the second highest midfielder for Villa. And he did start like most games. Like he started 5 in a row, and then the last 2 he didn't start. But I couldn't see why, because I don't think he was injured. I think I looked him up on Transfer Market. A little bit of everything. How is it going? Glad to see you. We've been going for nearly an hour. I don't know how long we'll go for. Just keep going, I guess. Hope for the best. Yeah, sorry, I got sidetracked. Thoughts on Chelsea attacking option? Cheers again, Puff. We've kind of already covered it. I feel, and again, there's loads of Chelsea fans in the chat, so maybe they would know better. But I feel like Mount is probably the safest option. And then it's Abraham next, I would say. They're who I'd go for, especially on like a free hit or a 1 week punt. El Ghazi's minutes were reduced before lockdown and McGinn's back. Back to Chelsea, like I've already said about Pulisic, just not 100% on whether he's going to start or not, which would worry me, to be honest. El Ghazi got subbed at 29. Oh, he got subbed at 29 minutes, did he? Oh, so he did start that game. Then played the cup final versus City, carrying the knock. Then got benched for Leicester. Okay. So he had a knock. Hang on, I'm sure I checked him on Transfer Market. Maybe I didn't look at the cup games. Maybe that was my problem. If I still had a wild card, would I still free hit? It would depend on my team. Like I've kind of talked about that on other videos quite a bit. I think most of the smart play is just unlimited transfer this week. But if you haven't got bench boost, not necessarily as big a deal. It depends what your team looks like. You could wildcard later in the season when we've got more data, but obviously you're reducing the amount of weeks that it's actually useful for. Here we go. Mount is your nailed on safe option, but not that explosive. Tammy should start and is playing old club. Yeah, if Tammy's going to start, I quite like him. Pulisic's a slight risk, but I reckon he starts. Loftus-Cheek, the ultimate differential. Yeah, if Pulisic's going to start, he'd be the one I would go for, I think. But I do like Tammy Abraham if he's going to play too. El Ghazi. It doesn't really say. That's the thing. It doesn't say whether they were subbed or not. Okay, yeah, it doesn't say anything about a knock. So it must have been just a knock that didn't kind of stop him being out fully. Yeah, fair enough. I quite like the idea of El Ghazi then. If you think he's going to be nailed, not nailed, but start both. Over McGinn. I don't know. I just can't get excited about McGinn. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe McGinn will be amazing. Oh, did I not? Hang on a sec. I set up a tweet to say that we were live, and I forgot to tweet it. So that was pretty stupid. By the way, I don't know if anyone's been playing virtual FPL. It's the last day of the season today, so you won't have to see me tweeting about it anymore. I'm just checking how I did now. Let me see. Oh, 87 points. Oh, I finished 30th. Not bad. Chelsea let me down. God damn it. Couldn't even do it against Newcastle. Bolly on the bench. Absolute nightmare. Anyway, back to real FPL. Yeah, I've lost my questions. Mahrez, De Bruyne and Aguero, or Sterling, De Bruyne and Laporte? I mean, there are quite a few people saying, is there really any more safety in Aguero playing both than Sterling? But I think I prefer the Aguero one, to be honest. I had my own team up for like the last hour or so, if you want to go back and check it. The only reason I can't easily bring it back up, I should have just done a screenshot, to be honest. I can't easily bring it back up because I've cancelled the transfers, so I'd have to put them all in again. Loftus-Cheek scored 2 goals against QPR. He did indeed. Carlos E, thanks very much. Thoughts? Unlimited transfers plus bench boost. Okay, Leno, Henderson. Yeah, Leno and Henderson is pretty standard. Fernandes for Newcastle. Target, O'Connell. De Bruyne, Sterling, Mount, Cantwell, Grealish, Aguero, Jimenez and Jota. I mean, for bench boost, that sounds okay. I feel like you got the best bang for your buck kind of bench options there. Like Fernandes, Saiss, Cantwell. Interestingly, I don't know if there's a chance of him not playing, because I think he's pretty nailed, to be honest. But that Duda guy is the same price as Cantwell. I think Neil mentioned him when we did a Rate My Team on Fantasy Football Scout. And I checked his stats, and in the last 6 matches or something, Duda's played more minutes. He's got more chance. I think he's got more chances created and more shots than Cantwell for the same price. Could be an option, maybe. Spooky James, thanks very much. Do free transfers carry over so I get 2 for Game Week 31? No, you're not going to get... No, because you've got unlimited transfers. So you're not going to get 2 next week. You're going to get 1. Girlfriend walked in when Andy was checking El Ghazi. What's the verdict? Transfer Market doesn't really tell me, but someone in the chat was saying that he started against Southampton, got injured, then played in the Cup with the knock, and then started on the bench because of the knock, basically. So that bench boost team sounds fine. There's not a huge amount of changes I think I would make, to be honest. without seeing the team like in front, like actually on an FPL screen in front of me. Like you could go for a few more punts if you wanted to. Like take Jota out, like I said, for McBurney, or you probably got 3. No, you've only got 2 Sheffield United players. Instead of O'Connor, you could go Egan. He gets quite a few shots or headers from corners and stuff. But other than that, there's not really a huge amount to change, especially if you're set on like Trent and that being in there. Please, Lundstrom start. He could do. He could well do. We just do not know. Make sure to hit that like button, by the way, if you haven't already. We're on 170. Let's get at least to 200 by the end of this stream. It'd be much appreciated. Liverpool players surely a risk after they win the title. Potentially. I don't know for sure. I think there was a podcast or something that someone was talking about that on. It was like, I think it was by James Pearce maybe. I haven't listened to it yet to see what the verdict was. I'm sure there'll be some rotation. Is he going to completely rotate? I don't know about that. But it'd be interesting to see what James Pearce thinks. He's like a reporter for Liverpool, or reports on Liverpool. You need to get the Newcastle clean sheet in your team somehow. You thought he's a good differential. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Breadbones. I can't see your first post. Likes just jumped. Yeah, good people. Thanks very much. They just jumped up to a cool 195. We're so close now. So close to that 200 mark. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Someone who's missed most of the stream, what's the biggest takeaway? What's the biggest takeaway? I'm going for De Bruyne. I was going to say even though he's a risk. I'm going for the safe pick De Bruyne because he scores lots of points. I'm tempted to punt on an Arsenal defender because, I don't know, I just like bad things happening to me. And on my free hit, I might go McBurney and everyone hates it. I think that's the stream wrapped up, to be honest. Thanks for the likes, everyone. Much appreciated. Do make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Thoughts on Greenwood given the 5 subs? Not going to start very often. So, can he come off the bench and score? Yes, but is he a good bench option? Maybe. I don't think you get any more excited than that, to be honest. Read in the Athletic that Wilder names his starting 11 48 hours before game. Sheffield United fan forum in the know guy may come in useful. That'd be good. KDB effective. Yeah, De Bruyne's effective ownership will be, I reckon it could be as high as like 170%. Something like that. Be insane. It'll be insane. Basically, this week, if you've got De Bruyne and you haven't captained him and he scores points, unless the player you've captained scores more, you're getting red arrows every time. A little bit of everything. Thanks very much. Appreciated. Triple captain. Nice. This is a bit of a change of pace. No one's triple captain in this week, apart from a little bit. No, obviously there's some people, but yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, not many people have discussed it because most people have used it and or a bench boosting this week, I would say, or just don't have any of these chips. Aubameyang, Aguero, or De Bruyne. So I'm captain and Aguero, but I feel like if I was triple captain, I'd probably go De Bruyne. I do think you play a little bit of high risk, high reward with Aguero. Like if he doesn't start both games, suddenly that is a risk. If he does, then the reward could be high. So I think if I was putting my triple captain someone, it'd be De Bruyne. Like I like Aubameyang, and I do think he actually gets a bit of a hard time considering the amount of goals he scores. I mean, one of the reasons we haven't owned him is just because, or a lot of people haven't owned him, just because of how expensive he is, and you're trying to fit in Mane and stuff as well. It's difficult. So that's kind of why people haven't been going for him. But so he is consistent, but the Man City game is going to be tough. So I think I'd put it on De Bruyne. Sterling captain, what do you reckon? I like it as a punt. Again, it's a similar situation to Aguero, isn't it? Just is he going to start both? I said earlier, if I had to bet money on a midfielder that wasn't De Bruyne getting 2 starts, I'd put it on Sterling, my money on Sterling. But I can't obviously guarantee that. But that's what my gut feeling is. City defensively will improve big time with Laporte. Aubameyang triple captain is very risky. Yeah, I do feel like you're relying on one game with Aubameyang plus a little bit of hope in the Man City game, whereas De Bruyne can just get points all over the park. It's probably should be. Not probably should be, but De Bruyne. I would put my triple captain this week on De Bruyne, and I would forget all that rubbish about differentials and stuff. Like you're just going to get one set of points for that triple captain, etc. My biggest takeaway, special Friday. I like it. I don't really know what you said there. I think spell check's taken over. I had Chinese last night. Usually I get like chicken balls, curry sauce. I get that every time. Last night I got a nice sweet chili, shredded chicken, bit of fried rice. Real good. Just thought I'd let you know. Then a few beers, which is much needed after this week. It has been nuts. Mainstream sleeping on Chelsea. Loads of injured players back. I don't think people are sleeping. Like, the noise is all going to be around double game week players, of course, because there's double game weeks and they're more interesting. But I feel like at least the people that talk about FPL a lot, like in YouTube, fantasy football, on Twitter and stuff, I think people realise that Chelsea and West Ham are probably the best options, like for single game weeks. So yeah, I don't think people are sleeping on it. They're just not maybe as interested in the discussion. Maybe just because it's double game week. Next week's going to be so good. The annoying thing is, right, and this is what annoys me about the Premier League. I know everything that's going on, but they've not thought about FPL content creators at all in their decisions on when to schedule the game, which is a bit disappointing. So the game week finishes on Monday, and the next bloody game is on Tuesday. What am I supposed to do? When am I supposed to stream and make videos? I mean, realistically, I'm probably going to stream on the Sunday because there's only City left. Do my team video on Monday and then the game week preview on the Tuesday. It's an absolute nightmare. So next time when they reschedule the fixtures, I hope they think a bit more about people like me. At least the next one finishes on Thursday and then is back on Saturday. It's a little bit better. But it's going to be a nightmare. We expect plenty of videos to come. One of the things I want to do for Patreon, by the way, is I'm not taking any stream stuff away, but I might start doing a Q&A video that's just specific patrons. Q&A video or live stream, something like that. As well as all the other stuff I do. Don't worry, not taking anything away, promise. But that might be from next season. I haven't decided yet. We shall see. Stream after City on Monday. But to be honest, I could do that, but I probably won't, to be completely honest with you. I'll probably stick to the Sunday, because things are going to be all over the place anyway. Sunday's much better for me than streaming than Monday, to be honest. It's so hot. I tell you now, it is very hot, and I'm sat in an office with a computer going, which has been on like most of the day. It's boiling in this office. Well, how long have we been going for? Jeez, hour and 10 minutes. All right. I think we'll start. Do you know what? FPL wise, I'll do what I usually do. So FPL wise, we'll leave it there. Give it a like. Much appreciated if you can give it a like. We're on 228. If we can get up to 250 by the time this stream ends, it'd be amazing. And subscribe if you're new. And I will see you probably next Sunday. I'm not going to obviously stream before Tuesday. I'll be doing a stream Fantasy Football Scout. I'll be doing a stream on Fantasy Football Scout on Wednesday evening, if you want to check that out. Like, deadline stream. No polls anymore. They've taken them out of YouTube. Can't do them. I mean, I could do them off YouTube. It's not as good. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not going to do the 5 minutes where I answer as many questions. I should bring that back, though, shouldn't I? I need graphics for that. I need quick-fire graphics and stuff like that. Maybe I'll do that at some point. I don't know. I need it done properly, though, not my crap. But yeah, we'll just chat about whatever if you want. Just for a few minutes. But FPL, we're done. We're done here. Liverpool's remaining games, they can still get record points. The thing is, I think the next season's probably going to start around September, like early September. So there's not going to be much of a break in between the end of this one and the start of the next one. So you might not want to run the players into the ground just to get points. Like, you got the league title. Does it really matter if you get the points record? It might be a big statement, but I don't know if it makes that much difference. Kiwi talk. I've stopped having kiwis for a few weeks because it's so hot. I mean, I could just keep them in the fridge, I guess. I don't know if that's good for them. They keep getting soft very quick. FPL done. I'll ping over the timestamps. Physio, you're absolutely legend. I don't know. The Clips channel is interesting because what I find with the streams is I'm a bit like Homer Simpson. You know, like Homer Simpson, like talks about one thing, then gets distracted elsewhere. I feel like that. I answer a question, I start answering a different one. So doing clips is quite difficult, but I keep putting up what I can. It doesn't have to be everything, I guess. I'll tell you what. Actually, let's just end the stream. If you want to carry on watching an FPL stream, head on over to FPL Family, who are streaming now. I'll spam their link in the chat. So go over to them if... Oh, yeah. Yeah, go and watch FPL Family. They're still streaming FPL. I'm knackered. I'm hot. I'm going to go. Good luck this game week. I'll have my team video out tomorrow, even though you've kind of seen it tonight. Team video out tomorrow. I have the game week preview on Tuesday. Wednesday, I don't know if I'm going to do a video. I've done one every day since Monday, I think. So we'll see. But good luck in game week 30 plus. It's going to be so good to have football back. I cannot wait. And I'm looking forward to all the discussion that's going to come before game week 31 because there will be a lot. A lot's going to happen in game week 30. There's going to be surprises, going to be players playing we didn't realise, all that stuff. So I will catch you later. Thanks very much for tuning in. Thanks for all the super chats and everything. Much appreciated. Check out Patreon if you want to sign up for that. And thanks again, Marco, for sorting me out of all the graphics. Much appreciated. I think it looks awesome. Goodbye, all.